There's quite a few things I experienced in there. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Now today we are doing girly chats. I'm talking all about my experience with the pill. Now I have been on and off of pills for 10 years of my life, which is just insane that it has been that long. I have had breaks in between, so that is not 10 consistent years. You're not meant to be on the pill for too long of a time, as it can actually start affecting your fertility. So I have had breaks, but anyway, I have some extremely positive experiences with the pill, and I have some very, very, very negative experiences also, which I really want to emphasize in this video. Obviously, the pill affects everybody in different ways, and all I can share is the experiences that I have had with my time being on it. So let's travel back 10 years ago to 17-year-old me. 17 years old, you know, 17 years of age, lots of things are changing, your body's changing, lifestyle changing, there's a lot going on at that point in life. And that is when I first went to the doctor and asked if I could go on the pill. Now, there were two reasons that I wanted to go on the pill. One of them being that I was always incredibly irregular, and the combination pill you take for 3 weeks and then you have a week break, and you were meant to be on in that week break. So that just sounded ideal. And there's all these troubles of going on holiday and not wanting to be on, and if you're on the pill you can kind of control that because you can take an extra week so that you delay your period, etc, etc. So that all sounded very good. Secondly, I was starting to get quite bad cramps. I remember lying in bed one evening before an award ceremony at my sixth form and being in so much pain and it aching so much that I didn't want to go. They weren't completely horrendous. I know people can get them much, much worse than I did back then at that point, but I was 17, it was all pretty new, and to me it was pretty bad. So anyway, went to the doctors and they put me on the combination pill, Microgynon. Now, just saying, these pharmaceutical names are tricky to pronounce. If I'm saying it wrong, I'm saying it wrong. Just Google them. So yes, anyway, that was a combination pill. Take it for 3 weeks and then you have a week where you don't take it and you experience what's called a withdrawal bleed, which is not actually a period. I think lots of people think that that isn't real period. It's not. But your body still feels in that kind of same routine that you were used to. I don't really remember whether I had any side effects to this pill. Obviously at that age your body is changing a lot anyway, and to be perfectly honest with you, when I first went to the doctors they didn't talk about the potential side effects that you could have on the pill. They basically mentioned blood clots and that was about it. So I would go there every 3 months, they'd take my blood pressure, ask if I was okay and give me another packet of pills. I was naive to what it meant by adding these hormones into your body. To me it was just, hey, take this, you know exactly when you're gonna be on your period and crack on with life. And the other thing I remember thinking as well was that some people, their skin clears up massively when they go on the pill, and it can prevent spots and help acne. Now I didn't have acne, but from my late teens all the way into my 20s, I have always had this small spattering spots around my face. And whilst they're not whopping great big huge spots, they were enough to make me feel very subconscious, and I do actually have some scarring down the side of my cheeks from these tiny little spots. So I remember thinking that that was a bonus, that hey, going on this pill, it's going to be like magic, it's going to clear up my skin, we're going to be dandy. Now that didn't happen. That didn't happen. The spot situation pretty much stayed the same from what I can remember, and also this pill, my body just didn't sync with it. It just didn't sync with it. And I remember asking around my friends and feeling like I was the only person this happened to. I would have my withdrawal bleed at any time. It never fell on the break week, ever. And that was, for me, that was a big reason why the pill was a good thing to do, and my body just didn't sync up with it, and I was really concerned as to why. But I remember bringing it up to the doctors and they didn't really have that much to say about it. They said it was nothing to worry about. And I think they put me on 2 different pills after that, just to try and get something that my body would properly sync with. But it never did. It literally never did. I was always just coming on here, there and everywhere. The only other thing that I wonder whether it had anything to do with the pill, and I'm not really sure if it did or not, it might have just been my body, I don't really know, was that at that point in my life, my chest got pretty big. I'm a lot smaller now compared to what I was, which I must say is a massive, massive relief. It was a nightmare. I absolutely hated it. But I really don't know whether that was anything to do with the pill or not. I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you. So basically, I ended up coming off the pill completely because it wasn't really achieving anything. At one point, I think the point where I did finally decide to stop taking it, where my spots were getting worse, and they were really bad all down here, which from my research at the time, I remember coming to the conclusion that spots down here were hormone spots. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's what I found out at the time. So I was like, right, okay, the pill could literally be causing these spots, because whilst people sometimes go on the pill to clear their faces, it can give other people spots. Like, it's a very personal experience. So I thought, you know what, I'm stopping it, because it was, whilst they were small, it was permanent and there were so many of them, and it just really, I had such textured skin and it really got me down. So I was like, I'm done, I'm just coming off. And I reckon I was off it for, it was at least 2 years. Maybe 3 years, I'm not entirely sure. There was a good period of time where I was not on anything at all. And to be honest, I don't remember anything bad about that time in my life. Anything body-wise, I don't remember anything negative at all. I really don't. But a few years into not being on the pill, my cramps started coming back with a vengeance. It was not good. They were really painful, the worst they'd been in my entire life. And there was one morning where I was getting ready to go to work, and I remember walking into the kitchen and literally being hunched over because the pain was so bad, my body was stopping me from standing up straight. I was literally in agony. It was awful. It was so, so painful. And this happened, I think it was for 3 months consecutively. So it was then that I decided to go back to the doctors and ask to be put on the pill again. So that's what I did, and the pill they put me on was a pill called Cerazette, and it's a mini pill. So it's a pill that you take all the time, because I told them my experience before and how my body never synced up properly with these combination pills. So they put me on Cerazette. So idea behind this is that you take it every single day, and your periods may stop completely, or they may just be a bit irregular, they may be very light, but you don't know when they're gonna come, basically. So that is the pill that I went on. Now, it took me a long time to realise what a horribly negative effect this had on my mental health. I think at first I thought it was great, because it basically took the pain away. Still got cramps, but they were perfectly manageable, and I wouldn't have a period for like about 3 months. I worked out was pretty much the average, and then I would come on for a week, a good week, maybe a little bit longer, and then I wouldn't have another period for another 3 months again. So when I was on, it really didn't get in the way because it was so far and few between. I remember thinking the pill was great. I remember saying that I remember recommending this mini pill to people and saying that I got on with it really well. People really don't talk about the mental health side of taking the pill. I, at this point, was totally naive to the fact that it can have a negative effect on your mental health. No one told me that, and that needs to be talked about. So at least if people do go on these pills, they're aware that this can happen, so they can nip it in the bud. Because I ended up having a year where I was so low and so anxious all the time, like I have never been in my entire life. It was so extreme, and it was because of the pill. And it took me a long time to realize it and come to that conclusion, because I didn't even have it in my head as that being an option. And you know what, it sucked, because that year where it was really bad, I had just got engaged, we were buying our first property, and those are two majorly exciting things. I was planning my wedding and buying my first house with my future husband. That was, and don't get me wrong, obviously I have tons of amazing memories, but that was the year that I was at my lowest, and it was all because of the flipping pill. And I remember one morning waking up to go to work, and I was downstairs in the kitchen making a coffee, and my husband came down, and I just burst into tears and said, I don't want to go to work. I just burst into tears, and I couldn't even tell you why I felt so low. I just did. And I remember not particularly wanting to socialise as well. There was one time that we had plans to go and do something, and it was just meant to be him and I, and some of our friends said, oh hey, we'll come. And again, I went into complete meltdown and was so upset, because I literally felt like I couldn't handle being around these people and socializing with them, because that's how low I felt. And the anxiousness, oh my goodness, it was, I remember there were points where all I wanted to do, I literally looked forward to going to bed and going to sleep, because you're not anxious when you're sleeping, and my heart wouldn't be racing when I'm sleeping. The second I woke up, straight away my heart would be racing, and I'd feel so anxious and on edge. It was so bad. And it was actually my mum who said to me that one of her friend's daughters was on a pill, and they'd recently stopped taking it because it had given them depression and anxiety. And I thought, oh my goodness, could this be why? Could this be why I'm feeling like this? Is it all because of the pill? And we found out that it was the same pill. We were both on Cerazette, and that is the reason she stopped taking it. And honestly, I mean, it was amazing that it was such an easy thing to fix, because obviously I just stopped taking it. But at the same time, oh my goodness, the fact that I went on for so long having no idea that this pill I was taking every single day was the primary cause of it. It's awful. It was so bad. It was one of the lowest years of my entire life, and it was all because of the pill. So anyway, that is my very bad experience. Now obviously, not everybody who takes Cerazette has this experience, but I just really want to highlight that if you do start feeling low or anxious, it could be the pill, or at least the pill could be a factor. Obviously, I still get worried about things. I am a worrier, that's the kind of person I am. I get worried and stressed about things, or anxious about things, but it was literally times a flipping 1,000 for that year. People need to be aware of that, and I really feel like doctors need to mention it as well, because if you're not even looking out for it, like I didn't know why I was feeling like this, and it hadn't even entered my head that it could be the pill. No one had ever said that to me before. So yeah, just be aware that it can have an effect on mental well-being. So binned that off, went off that pill straight away. I think I literally just stopped taking it as soon as I realised. I don't think I even waited to go and get another one. I just stopped taking it. Cue another break. Fast forward a little bit more, and we are approaching our wedding and buying our property and starting our new married life. So I took myself back off to the doctors to get a birth control pill. And now this is the saving grace for me in terms of pills. This doctor was really lovely, and I explained the issues I'd had in the past, and she gave me Regividan. I think that is how you pronounce it. That is what we're going with. Regividan is a combination pill, so you take it for 3 weeks and then you have a week break where you will experience a withdrawal bleed. And this, just something about it, it just worked. It just worked. I synced up straight away, which I had never experienced before in all the pills that I had tried. When I was experiencing a withdrawal bleed, it was light. I did still get cramps, but they would happen for 1 or 2 days before my bleed. and they were nothing too crazy. Like, yeah, they're uncomfortable, might need to take an ibuprofen, but nothing that you can't manage. They were fine, you couldn't complain. My skin was fairly clear, probably the clearest it's ever been. Obviously that could be age related as well, but it could also be the pill. And I didn't put on any weight. I didn't notice any sort of mood swings or it affecting my mental well-being at all. It just worked. It's absolutely brilliant. And I think 4 months into starting it, I got married and obviously had our honeymoon straight away afterwards. And sod's law, my withdrawal bleed week was the week of our honeymoon. So one thing that you can do with a combination pill is continue taking it for 4 weeks instead of 3. And what this should do is prevent your bleed until the following week. Now, doctors say that you shouldn't do this regularly, but if you do it once, maybe twice a year for a special occasion or a holiday, then it should be fine. So I was nervous about doing this for our honeymoon because I was so over the moon that I had this pill that my body actually successfully synced up with, that I didn't want to do anything to ruin that. The fact we were on our honeymoon, it was worth the risk, I guess. I took that risk and I continued taking it for an extra week and it was fine. Nothing happened. And then I had a week break and I had a light withdrawal bleed and it just remained synced up the entire time. That brings us to the present day. So there we go. There's quite a few things I experienced in there. The pill that worked best for me is Rogividin. For other people, it could even be Cerazette. But there's a whole load of stuff and issues there that happened with me. And yeah, it was definitely a bit of trial and error. And I guess this video is kind of for your information. I know that I really could have done with a video like this to watch when I was like 17, just to find out other people's experiences, not because it will definitely happen to you too the way it happened to me, but just to raise awareness really, and just have in your head the possibilities that could happen, and to just be aware that it might be the pill and not actually you. So I hope that this video was helpful and informative. If anyone does have any questions, drop them in the comments and I will reply. If you want it to be a little bit more private, my Instagram is Mrs. Naomi Watt, and you can DM me on there and I will get back to you and answer any questions that you may have. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, please subscribe, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.